Okay guys, what I'm going to talk to you about here is something we call the TVA, transverse abdominis. Okay, so when we talk about core strength, we've got a sort of a band of muscle, if you like, that surrounds our core and is integral with core strength. Okay, so if it's not activated, which sometimes is the case, inherently we're quite lazy beasts, and our bigger, stronger muscles will start to take over in order to produce movement, if you like, and the smaller ones, which are really quite important, they start to switch off if they're not used enough. So what we get a lot of the time, people with lower back pain, sometimes abdominal pain, or a lot of issues, to be honest, will stem from core strength. So we look at TVA activation. And now in order to activate the TVA, it takes a lot of concentration if you've really lost the ability to do it. So we're going to talk about here just some low level activation of the TVA, okay, and the idea is that eventually you will build it into more complex movements, but we're just going to look at a few progressions, okay, so once we get it activated, a few progressions on from there, okay. So to start with then, all we're going to do is we're going to lie back, knees bent, okay, and we're going to take two fingers and we're just going to sit them just in the soft area, either side of sort of the bladder area, okay, and you're going to go for that little cough, so a little cough, and you can feel the muscles push through as you cough. That there is our TVA, okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to gently push our lower back, just gently, into the floor, very gently, and you'll feel that muscle groups go on. So another way of trying to get the muscle groups to go on would be maybe trying to stop yourself having a wee. Imagine you're going for a wee, boom, I'm going to stop it, cut it off, and then we feel the contraction of the TVA. Okay, so now we feel that gentle contraction, we've got a gentle press of the back into the mat. We're not pushing it hell for leather and getting all the bigger muscles firing off, just a gentle contraction into the mat, stopping ourselves out of the way, and then that will there activate our nice deep core TVA muscle. Okay, what we're going to do from there then is keep that on, and we're just going to practice holding it. Just deep breathing, taking some slow, steady breaths, and practice holding it for 15 to 20 seconds, then relax, shake a little bit, find it again, gentle contraction, push the lower back into the deck, and we've got it again. And we're going to practice, and you can do that 2 or 3 sets through, okay, and once you've got that, and you can do that nicely and hold that contraction nice and steady for maybe, or whatever sets you decide to aim for, you can start to add in some movement. So we've then got it, okay, we've got our back gently pressed in, we've got it all activated. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to progress it. I'm going to take the hands away, I can feel that it's contracted, and I'm going to just use my hands now and just alternate. I'm going to allow one to go up to the sky and then back up. I say up to the sky, up above my head. Then the other, keeping that contraction and then back up. It doesn't have to go all the way, just as long as you can keep that lower back into the deck and keep this activated. So I know there that I'm happy, I've spent a bit of time doing that, and I can keep that activated all the way there, not a problem. What I'm then going to do is I'm going to progress. I'm going to do the legs now, so I'm going to keep that on, I'm going to lift the foot off the floor, and if this is as much as we can do while we keep it, then that's fine. Then we're going to take the foot away, lengthen that lever, and hold it there, and bring it back. Now I know I can feel, because I'm using my fingers for a bit of feedback, that I can keep that on doing this movement here. So there's your next progression. Again, you can just spend some time doing that. And then we're going to go for a final progression before you then start to look at more functional sort of style movements. So we get the contraction on. Okay, we're happy we've got that TVA activated now. Okay, gentle contraction of that, lower back pushed in, hips where we want them. By doing this, it gets them in quite a nice neutral position anyway. What I'm then going to do is I'm going to bring both feet off the floor and back down. And as long as we can do this, we can then go into this final progression. So we've got that activated, feet off the floor, hands up, okay? What I'm going to try and do now is I'm going to lengthen one leg and the other arm. So opposites, keeping that TVA contracted, lower back pressed into the deck, and then back up. And again the other way, thinking about this contraction here, keeping it nice and tight, keeping that lower back into the deck. Some people call these dead bugs. If it's dead, it wouldn't be moving. I like to call them a stranded turtle. But this exercise in itself is really quite a tricky exercise, okay? But if we can keep that TVA activated while using our lower limb, our upper limb, okay, and keep that concentration, I think that's a really good gauge for us to be able to move on to some slightly more functional exercises. Okay, so if you can take that TVA activation, think about that in any of your movements. If you feel that you're maybe not quite getting it, then draw it back. Try some of these exercises. What I've done there is I've gone from easiest through to hardest, okay? But you might find that you just want to drop it and try the hardest, see how you get on. Give it a go, guys. TVA activation, really important for any sort of functional training, and it's often missed out in a lot of people's training. Why? Because time, generally the issue. But if you look at any top-end athletes that do sport full-time, you'll find that this sort of stuff is often in their program. All right, guys, give it a go. Hope you enjoy it. All the best.